Hello, and I've been thinking. Oh, dropping my phone. I've been thinking just lately, and it's an interesting thought. I want to share it with you. With regards to aliens, uh, we always think of aliens as or UFOs. Actually, I'm going to talk about like UFOs that are alien, because not all UFOs are alien, are they? Because a UFO is an unidentified flying object. It could be anything. It could be something from our own planet, or someone messing about. But anyway, assuming that some of the UFOs are spaceships that have come here visiting from another planet, we assume that they're kind of humanoid size, and we assume that there are some maybe small ones, because people talk about small aliens that are maybe 4 foot tall, 3 foot tall. You get some even smaller ones, but for the most part, aliens that are of a reasonable size, and that's what we assume. However, have you noticed that a lot of the UFO sightings, be it that they are not all genuine, I know, of course, there's a lot of fakes, but assuming that a percentage of them are genuine, have you noticed that some of them are very small? Sometimes you see a UFO that's like maybe the size of a football, sometimes even smaller. And so people speculate as to what that could be. If it were extraterrestrial, people say, well, maybe it's a extraterrestrial drone, right? Coming to, like, I don't know, take some pictures or whatever, gather some data, and it's unmanned, unpiloted. Okay, so yes, that could be the case. But here's my thought, right? Why do we have to assume that all the aliens that visit us are of, like a foot, couple of foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot in height? Could it be that we have like tiny little insect aliens, like absolutely tiny, that come here in tiny spacecraft? What if, right now, I don't know if you've seen that fiction animation movie. It's really good. I actually really enjoyed it. It's a kids thing. It's called Horton Hears a Who, and it's about a little speck of dust on top of a flower, and it kind of floats around before it settles on this flower, and it's actually a whole world, and there's like an entire world and an entire civilization living on this little tiny weeny speck. So in the universe, right, it's the same thing with planets. We just automatically assume that all planets are like kind of, the size of Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Some extremely large, some are small, but what we would consider a small planet is something like maybe Pluto, which is actually too small to be a planet. It was demoted, wasn't it? But we think of planets as being large because space is so large. But what if there's like life on much smaller bits of debris, if you like, okay, but the gravity is proportionate because the beings living on it are tiny. Look how intelligent our ants are, right? What if there were like tiny creatures, right, that were far more intelligent than our ants, and they were a spacefaring species, and they were able to travel about? What if, right, all the bits of dust floating about in the sky, what if a minute, like 0.0000001% of them or whatever, right, are actually aliens, and they're like maybe microscopic organisms, highly intelligent, capable of building technology, and that tiny speck of dust is actually a sophisticated spacecraft with components that we can't even see. So far as we're concerned, it's just a speck of dust. I mean, we would never notice those guys coming to visit our planet, would we? So when we speculate about like how many intelligent species there are in the universe, and we kind of toss up the figures and we think, okay, well there must be like X million different types based on these mathematical formulas, like the Drake equation or whatever. Well, what if those equations are accurate? And I think with the Drake equation, it equates to 10,000 advanced civilizations in our Milky Way galaxy. And so the question is, well, have they ever come to the Earth? And there is like a number of species that have, perhaps. And what if there's far more? What if there's far more? What if there's tiny creatures coming to visit us? It's an interesting thought. Something to sleep on tonight. It's late here in the UK and I'm heading to bed shortly. And I think I'm going to sleep on it, because it's an interesting thought. So give that one some thought. Comment below if you've got any thoughts on the matter. Feel free.